Hello, boys and girls all watching out there in YouTube land. John and Nilly is here on our channel live, but this is Thomas Metal 75 channel of YouTube. Again, this is Thomas Metal 75. That's John and Nilly. That's his tagline. I give praise to that dude. We have, why can't I think of people's names? There it is. It's popping up now. Michael Cormorant, Brooklyn, New York. We got Ronald Theriot, Louisiana Beer Reviews. And for the first time in a little while here, we got Tyler Mansell from out of Seattle, Washington. See his skyline? Seattle. Hello, sir.
Hello, James.
And yes, James Madonna from the great state, if you will.
From the great. How come every state is a great state when they're politicians?
Because you all live in it. You all make it great. Come on now.
Okay, nobody ever said like, you know what? You live in that fucking state? That shithole? No, oh, I'm sorry.
But this is a really special review because the first Wildcard Wednesday of 2019. So without further ado, let's see what everybody's drinking for Wildcard Wednesday, starting with Georgia's own John and Nilly.
All right, well, I have got a beer from Victory Brewing Company. This is the Storm King.
Oh, yeah. I've had that.
Imperial Stout. It is 9.1% alcohol by volume. It does say that it has a thundering hop presence, but it does not list the IBUs. And it also says, this is interesting, it says enjoy by August 2nd, 2023. So this beer can be cellared.
Will it get better with age? Probably.
I mean, 9.1%. It's getting up there. So
excellent beer selection from John and Nilly. Let's hear about this interesting Pilsner style beer that Michael Cormorant is bringing to the table.
Okay, this is from Barrier Brewing of Oceanside, Long Island, and it's No Can Defend Pilsner. It has turmeric, ginger, and white tea.
Wow.
Medicinal craft beer.
That's correct. It's 4.8%, so it's sessionable.
Okay, sounds interesting. James C. Madonna, what you drinking in that?
I'm wetting my palate with some Kraken black spiced rum.
Okay.
But that's not what I have. I mean,
all right.
Greetings there, Mr. J. Theriot. How are you doing?
Yes, Jay Theriot. How's it going? What beer did you bring?
Hello, Tyler. Hello, John, Eric, Michael, the whole gang.
Got beer tonight there, Mr. Theriot?
I have 4.7 alcohol by volume premium lager from the Ukraine, founded 1750, Lvivsky. Lvivsky, and it's got a nice design on the glass. Lvivsky, founded.
Lvivsky.
Yeah, whatever, you know.
Heard it live, folks.
You don't like my pronunciation? Screw them. Lvivsky, yeah, from the Ukraine. I don't care.
Cool.
That's what I got.
All right, back to our correspondent down south in Louisiana. Mr. Jay Theriot, what awesome beer have you brought this evening?
Okay, and one more thing about the Lvivsky. That town, Lviv, or in Polish, Lwów, it was called Limburg until 1918 when it was controlled by the Austrians. It was part of the Austrian Empire until 1918, so it might have been called Limburg.
I like Limburger cheese, even though it stinks to high heavens.
Yeah.
But anyway, the Austria-Hungary Empire, is that the same empire?
Yes, they controlled Limburg. Okay.
Stinky cheese.
And you have...
I have Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, 5.6% alcohol, 38 IBUs, introduced in 1980.
Excellent. Good old by craft lager or craft pale ale. There you go.
Yes.
I know Tyler's got a very interesting beer he wants to present this evening, so tell us which of those beers you have.
All right, so this is the Haze Alicious by Rubens Brews.
Oh, wow.
Your local favorite out there in Seattle.
Right, this is a local favorite. It just flies off the shelves you go into the brewery, people come in to grab a 6-pack of this all the time.
They whack it right off.
The very New England style IPA.
Boom.
This is very fresh too.
What's the alcohol, Tyler?
Yeah, what's the ABV?
6% ABV.
Not
Okay,
bad at
thank you.
all. All right.
James, what's the alcohol on the Levish?
The Levisky, as Bela Lugosi said, I don't drink wine. No, it is 4.7%. And Mr. Thomas Metal 75's whiskers are getting longer. They're growing in pretty good.
Thank you, sir. I got a big old beer to go with all your small, tiny, insignificantly alcohol by volume content.
Holding that like the shake weight, for God's sake.
No, ew, no. No, this is 12.7% alcohol by volume.
Cool.
Now, remember the last week I had for Christmas ales a 13%, but here is an old ale. It is brewed with molasses and aged in maple syrup bourbon barrels from Founders Brewing Company's Barrel Age series. This is Curmudgeon's.
Wow, that sounds interesting. And it's better half if they're still married. If they're divorced, it's not such a better half.
Yeah, this beer might just get you divorced if you drink too much of it. So I acquired said beer because I acquired this and a bottle or two, I think it was, of Founders Double Trouble and Imperial IPA because one of my buddies on New Year's Eve acquired a 4-pack of this and then bought a couple of bottles of the Double Trouble, and they didn't really like either of them. So they said, give them to me. And I'm like, yeah, okay, good. So free beer. All right.
That's how you get your exotic fermented grain.
There you go. So I'm going to pour open my beer into a new Pilsner Urquell. It'll do the trick. And while I do that, John Anelli is first up to describe his delicious beer to us all. And explain what beer that is once again, John Anelli.
All right. Well, I'm drinking the Victory Storm King Imperial Stout, 9.1% alcohol. Says on the label, massive espresso and dark chocolate notes, and a thundering hop presence. So the aroma is definitely the dark chocolate. You're picking up on some of the coffee. It kind of has an odd smell, though. You know, when you drink say you cellar a beer that has a bunch of hops in it, but it's a super high ABV beer, where you lose the hops and you get like a weird musty aroma that's kind of left behind. I'm getting a little bit of that with this beer, but I mean, it can't be that old. The best by date is 2023, and I don't see any other. There's not like a born on date or anything. It just says the best by date is 2023. So I really have no idea how old this is, but I'm smelling the hops, but they don't necessarily smell super fresh. So let's go ahead and taste this thing. Cheers, guys. Happy first Wild Card Wednesday of 2019.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh, this beer smells fucking delicious.
I like the way Eric's looks. I like that dark brown.
All right.
We'll get to that shortly.
A lot of dark chocolate, a lot of coffee, not cold brew coffee, like straight up, well, like they say, espresso. It is very, very bitter. I think some of that's coming from the coffee and some of it's coming from the hops. The aroma doesn't really follow through. It's so the hops are definitely not faded with this one. If I had to guess what the IBUs were with this one, I would say definitely upwards of 50, probably. God, it tastes like a 65 IBU beer. And I know some of that's coming from the coffee because you get the double whammy with all the hops that they add and with the strong coffee presence. It's not syrupy, but it's very heavy bodied. It is very roasty, toasty. The finish is kind of wet, very heavy, not a definite sipper. It is warming going down. It's not boozy per se, but you can tell this is a very high ABV beer. My first thoughts are that it's okay. It's way too bitter for a stout, in my opinion. I think it should be more balanced with the malts, because that's what I want with a stout. I want more bready notes, and I want more sweet malty notes, dark chocolate notes, caramel. And this one is definitely more of an IPA lover stout from my first thoughts. Anyway, I'll keep sipping on it, and we'll see how it develops, but very, very bitter.
Okay, very interesting sounding Imperial Stout there from Mr. John and Nilly. Now we're going to turn the tides a little bit to a sessionable lager style beer featuring Michael Cormorant in Brooklyn, New York.
Okay, this is what it looks like. The head was a little bit higher when I first poured it. As you can see, it's a little bit of a hazy, mildly hazy yellow, kind of even a light yellow. The head is fading, but the head comes back as you move it around. So I guess that's getting some head retention. Let me give it a nose. You can pick up the ginger on the nose, which is interesting. I can't smell any turmeric. I know what turmeric smells like, and I can't get that, but I'm getting the ginger. It's light though. It's not a heavy smell, but you can get the ginger. And that's all I can smell. Let me taste it. You get the ginger on the taste as well. And you're also getting some like bready malts in the background behind the ginger. It's fairly light bodied. There's even some ginger in the mouthfeel. So this is a ginger forward beer. It's only 4.8 alcohol, so it's very easy drinking. You can't really taste the alcohol. There's not enough of it probably to taste. I'm enjoying it, and I'll give you a further read when everybody else is done.
Excellent. Definitely sounds like a more of an interesting take on a lager Pilsner style beer. So excellent stuff there. Yes, let's hear from James C. Madonna next, and what I assume to be one of the Polish beers he's able to acquire.
I'm the other bookend on the other side. Are you not going like down the line? It's all right. It's all right.
You are right next to Michael Cormorant in line.
Oh, I am? Oh, from your end. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. Lewivsky, 17. At 15, 4.7% here. A lot of carbonation. It has a strong yeasty and hop aroma, more on the yeast side.
Very effervescent.
Very effervescent, like one of those pagan Christmas snowballs that you shake. Very effervescent. And yeah, let me give it a little more head. Wow. I could throw a joke. I could throw a joke in with that, but I won't. Anyway. It's for babies, as Arnold would say. This lager is stuck.
There we go.
You know what? No more Slavic beers for me except the Zwick Porter. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with these.
Zwick?
This is like drinking Tecate. What cheap bastards they have in the Ukraine. What the hell do they use with this to make this? It's too weak. What am I tasting? Besides a yeasty club soda.
Oh.
Hey, let me tell you this. They make a Lvivsky 7% called Lvivsky Strong. It's 7%. And they make a Lvivsky Stout Porter, which is 8%.
Well, you know what? The owner of these liquor stores are nincompoops because they should get the whole Lvivsky product line, and that's what I would do if I was managing the damn store.
Wow.
Don't, but they don't. So that's my take on their premium, quote unquote, premium lager. It's like drinking, actually, a Modelo Especial and Corona has more more full-bodied flavor than this.
Damn.
I gotta call him like I see it, and the aroma surpasses the flavor. Would I drink it again? No. What rating would I give it? A 70.
He's already rated it. He's done, sir. He's done.
That's it. C minus. You're fired, like Trump used to say. You're fired, Levinsky Premium Lager.
Not one to go back to and remember. Okay.
No, it's for chicks that are on at a resort with the little lime wedge in their sticking Corona. It's a girly lager.
Cool. Interesting. All right. So cool.
Good flow. Good flow with the show.
That beer. We got Jeff Knapp. He says, "Good evening, gents from Ohio." Hello, Jeff Knapp. And if Craig as usual chatting, he says he's drinking tonight a Big Cranky Double IPA. It's 9.5% alcohol by volume, 95 IBUs, and it is from the Stony Creek Brewing Company, which is within the state of Connecticut. So, hello. It sounds awesome, and thank you for watching, Craig and Jeff. I do want to go right now down south to Louisiana and hear from our correspondent, Jay Theriot, Louisiana Beer Reviews, and his beer of choice this evening, the Pale Ale from Sierra Nevada. Well,
it had a thick head, but it died away. It's still got lacing on the side of the glass. It's got some sediment in there. It's got a lot of powdery sediment, and it made like a little cloud when I did the swish and pour. So it's just full. It's orange. You can see it's kind of orange, but it's full of particulate matter. 5.6% alcohol, 38 IBUs. The aroma: pale malt, pale, fruity aromas, like a orange marmalade type situation.
The marmalade situation, folks.
And populate too.
Sometimes you get marmalade-y flavors in these hoppier, fruity, forward flavored kind of beers.
Yeah, and same fruity taste. The pale malt, pale, sweet, white bread crust taste. Medium bodied. It's got a mostly dry finish. It's not too sweet. It's not too bitter. It's just oh so mellow. It's one of the best to me. I can only speak for myself. But it's one of the best pale ales on the market, I think. The other ones that are really good are Dale's Pale Ale. This one, and I'm trying to think of another one. I know there's some other good ones, but this is really a dynamite.
And Trilliums.
Sierra Nevada.
This is what I'm drinking, Sierra Nevada.
Classic beer right there.
Yeah, so Sierra Nevada, Dale's Pale Ale, and I know there's a third one I'm trying to think of.
Treehouse.
Well, I don't get those oddball Yankee
beers, right?
You called the Massachusetts beers oddball beers. That sounds
I'm trying to think of a classic beer.
I mean, oddball to me. I mean, they're common.
Just a pale ale, not like an IPA.
They're not common, Jay. I'll admit they're not common.
We'll have to come back to that thought and think of some other really popular pale ales around the country.
Oh yeah, the Goose Island, but we don't really get that anymore.
I like Goose Island products.
Oh well, Bass is a pale ale. It's highly popular.
Oh yeah, the British pale ale. Yeah, but we don't get that.
That's so different than what you're drinking right
now. Oh right, yeah, it's like a whole different world.
Yeah. So it still holds up every time you drink it. It's still a good beer every time you drink that Sierra Nevada Pale Ale, right, Jay?
It sure does, especially when I got it on sale for 99 cents.
That's a damn good deal right there. Do you have a bottling date on that, Apple?
Yeah, but I was hoping you wouldn't mention that.
That's why it's 99 cents.
I know, that's why I was trying to avoid. September 12th. But you know what? It didn't lose too much. No, it didn't lose too much. So it was a good trade-off. I got it cheaper, and it didn't lose too much, and it's got a lot of enjoyable qualities. I would like to try all the other ones that you guys are trying, like the Levitsky and the one that Michael has. And I've already tried John and Nile's Victory King. Storm King. And Tyler's, I'd like to try his.
Before we get to our great buddy here, Tyler Mansell, we have a shout out live on the chat, shouting out James P. Madonna of all folks here. We got Travis McGee watching. He says, hot takes from the Bell guy. This show needs more of those. Skip Jay's turn and go back to Bell guy. Do you have anything else to say really quick, Bell guy, before we go to Tyler? You're a fan?
I can even do Juice Hawk for you if you want.
All right. Well, we'll come back and talk about Bell guy in a little while. But first, we must get to Tyler Mansell drinking such an interesting brew out there in Seattle, Washington. Explain your beer, sir.
All right. So the beer I'm drinking is 45 IBUs, guys. And I've had this a few times in the tasting room at the brewery. So it's a beautiful beer, as I know.
It's delicious. Holy crap.
So what we have here is a very hazy, bright yellow appearance. This is something, you first saw from Eric's Trillium, so it looks good. Can't see through it, of course, and there's no yeast trunks. No yeast trunks.
Very appealing look.
Definitely. Looks like orange juice almost.
Yeah, wow. Cool.
Or as Tom the beer whisperer would say, it looks like a urinary tract infection.
So the aroma,
it looks great.
I love them.
Back to
the
Tyler.
aroma over here is very, very tropical. It's like passion fruit, mango, pineapple, just very tropical.
Looks like it should be on a Gilligan's Island episode.
Craig says it looks gross, Tyler.
Huh.
Well, if you put raw eggs in it, you'll never see the raw eggs.
All right, Tyler, back to your shindig with the beer.
Party.
Smells good. Just excellent. We're going to take a sip.
Cheers, Tyler.
Cheers.
Prost.
So the malts that are present here, it's like a pillow. Pillowy malts is how they describe it.
Pillowy.
Very, very, and then the hops are very fresh tasting. This was packaged December 28th. So fairly fresh. Just an incredible flavor. So smooth, even though it's 45 IBUs, there's no bitterness. That's what's amazing about this. Is just so smooth. A lot of passion fruit and mango. It kind of reminds me of a mango smoothie a little bit. But it's just an excellent, excellent brew. Something that you might find yourself craving after you have it for the first time. Definitely, the thing that's wrong with this beer is absolutely nothing. So it's excellent.
Looks very inviting.
What's the ABV again, Tyler?
6%, just the flat 6%.
That's pretty good for an IPA. A lot of the New England style hoppier beer offerings usually will do around about a 7.2, I've noticed, as their IPA offering. And then there are companies that will make pale ales, like Jay was talking about with the beer that he's drinking, that can be even lower ABVs because they don't really want to cut the flavor across the beer, but they still want to give you a lower ABV so that if you want to drink a few of these kind of beers, then you're able to do so with the lower ABVs than having to buy all these high-end world-class rating double IPAs and drink one and be done. So that's kind of cool that your beer's like that, Tyler. Excellent. We'll come back to Tyler and get his rating. It's got to be a great rating. So I'm looking forward to that final thought and critique. Mine, once again, is from that Founders Barrel Age series known as Curmudgeon's Better Half. It's crazy. They say, if I skip through some of this, they say, the result is Curmudgeon's Better Half, a harmonious matrimony of our deceptively smooth old ale brewed with molasses and time spent aging in bourbon barrels that had previously held maple syrup, because all counterparts should be sweet, rich, and utterly delicious. So, alrighty then. I've had some of this beer, as you can tell while I was watching everybody else's reviews. The lacing is where the head formed in my newly acquired Pilsner Urquell glass. I know, Pilsner glass for this, but It looks good in the glass. Sticky, sticky, sticky lacing. It's got definitely a brown mahogany, dark reddish, brownish kind of hue to it. Actually, there is a lot of carbonation to it, and there is some sediment actually forming that has been in the bottle. So interesting on that. It's definitely opened up a little bit. I can swirl it around now and really get the gist of the nose. And what I'm getting is basically, as you could imagine, with maple syrup and molasses, it is a sweet, sweet candy sugar-like nose on this one. It definitely smells like a breakfast syrup. It definitely has that bourbon whiskey wood barrel char. Not necessarily a huge char to it, but a little bit of that note. There's a lot of vanilla, and there's a shit ton, sorry, pardon my French, of coconut in there too. Lots of coconut. And yeasty, brown, bready, toasty, kind of malty presence to it. I'm not really getting a whole bunch of hops for my nose. It's kind of just earthy overall. However, the curmudgeon's better half on the Founders Brewing website is rated at 35 IBUs. So that's, I think that the malts are really, the malts and the sweetness are going to be the star of the show. Let me take a little sip of a 12.7 curmudgeon's better half. Founders, Grand Rapids, Michigan.
I enjoyed that beer when I tried it. I could have gotten some.
Awesome.
Now, I acquired this beer again on New Year's Eve. So we tried it. My buddy that bought the 4-pack didn't like it, so he gave it to me. I think the complaint is it was too sweet, mixed with a little bit of the boozy element that wasn't right for that person's, for a couple of my buddies' palate. And I am getting all of that. I am getting a really upfront sweet component to it. But right away, I'm getting a huge barrel note of vanilla and lots of toasty kind of coconutty notes to it.
Wow.
But definitely the maple syrup. I'm thinking this label here, how it's that picture, if it wants to focus, of this gentleman with his wife over his shoulder, and the gentleman's eating some pancakes with the butter and the syrup. I am kind of imagining like part of what I'm getting is sort of a buttery note to it as well, a buttery toffee caramelly note to it as well. Just on the low end of a full mouthfeel, but that's exactly what it is. The alcohol is not particularly mashed at all. There's a little bit of that, what's that word I'm thinking of, effusal alcohol, I guess that's the word. So it's a little bit vaporous. You get a little bit, you notice it in the nose. You can definitely taste more of a stronger twinge of something in there, which is the 12.7. But it does not burn in any regard. You just get that initial vaporous action of it just for a very brief moment. So lots and tons of chewy malts in this one. It's definitely chewy malts, a little bit sticky. And the bourbon barrel is just taken over in its vanilla and coconutty kind of notes to it. So I think the coconut and the vanilla is working really nicely with molasses, brown sugary kind of bready notes from the malt, and the maple syrup is giving it a whole different kind of a dimension, almost in a desserty kind of fashion. Is this the best beer I've ever had in my life, or the best beer that I think I've ever had from Founders? No, not really. So the only thing that initially that I'm not really a huge fan of this, I think it is, I can certainly tolerate this beer. By no means is this a chore to drink. However, I do wish for me personally that the sweetness was notched down substantially, and that more of the old ale and more of the barrel was even more shown in the beer. However, molasses and maple syrup, that's part of its showcase and that's part of its marketing. So I'll come back to the ratings. I'm glad I had more room to swirl to get more of an aroma and more of the flavor out of the beer. But so far, this is a high-class beer in my eyes, but we'll come back and give you the final thoughts and grades in a little bit. I do want to go backwards here. We just heard from Tyler. Let's go right back to Tyler and hear what's going on with his beer. Let's go backwards, everybody.
Yeah, so it is warming up a little bit. So a lot more of the hop presence and that 45 IBUs are coming out. It's just so pleasant, and it's very easy drinking. There's nothing harsh about this beer. I could see the only reason you wouldn't like it is if you don't like New England style IPAs and maybe you're expecting a traditional style. Me, I crave this style now, so it's excellent. Highly recommended. All right, you can go on now.
Any number rating for that beer? How would you actually grade that beer?
Yeah, well, I've had a lot of New England style IPAs, you guys. It's not like I just haven't had Trillium.
Hopefully we can fix that. Hopefully.
Personally, it's an excellent beer. There's nothing really wrong with it. If I had to nitpick it or something, like we talked about, a more traditional, maybe 7.2%. For something like this style, I would prefer, but 6%, it's very sessionable, very drinkable. That's really the only thing I would downgrade it, because they do make higher, like 8% New England style IPAs that you can only get at the brewery, and I would rate those a little higher. But this is probably a 96.75 out of 100.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
High rating and praise for the Rubens IPA.
Hello, Gabriel.
We got Gabriel Salaya
Hello.
joined the channel. Hello, Gabriel in the Phoenix.
I'm
Arizona
100%
area.
live.
Do you have a beer you are sharing with us this evening?
Right. I'm going to share Warsteiner Dunkel.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
You want to tell us a little bit about that beer before we get to Ronald Terrio?
My first time.
You got that in a glass. Are you ready to examine with us?
Right. What? Let's see. Dark here.
And Gabe, I had an interesting
Yes.
conversation with Gabe at 2:45 a.m. because for whatever reason he was awake. And we
I'm always
talked
awake that time.
he wanted to talk about hot sauce, so we talked about hot sauce for a little while.
Nice. Cheers.
Yeah, it's your favorite, so I picked it up just for you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Really not that hot though. Okay.
No.
Like we agreed it's not that hot.
On to
Yeah,
War-
it has like Tabasco vinegar taste to it.
Right. Because the man that created it worked for Tabasco. When he got fired, he took the recipe and made his own.
Damn. Nice. All right. Let's hear about
Right.
Warsteiner Dunkel from Gabriel. He's opening the beer. I hear it. Open. All right.
I opened it. I don't know if it's dark right here.
We can see you good. We can see the beer right there. John Anile is loving the show.
Let's go, Tyler, while we're
No.
still young.
Yes, well, you're still 50.
We did a
Right.
Google examination on my channel, actually.
Well, I'm still 30 and you're 50.
Right. Why nitpick though?
All right. Give us a brief review, examination, and grading of Warsteiner Dunkel there. Gabriel Salaya.
It has a creamy, what's it called?
Head.
Yes.
Head.
Creamy head. Yes. I like it.
I don't want to be funny.
Beer foam.
Yes. Right. Beer foam.
How does it smell? That's what I said, not she.
Like malty. Let's see, what is it? Like brown,
Are you smelling
amber color.
It smells
Brown. I don't know if you can see, it's brown, amber color.
All right.
Excellent. Give us a taste test of some Warsteiner Dunkel. Cheers, Gabriel Salaya.
I like that word, Dunkel.
Pretty roasted and sweet.
Right.
What you tasting there, Gabriel?
Like nuttiness of the flavor.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll try that. I'll go with that. Anything else?
And a bit bitterness.
Mm.
Okay. Is it
Not
it
too bitterness.
What is the bitterness coming from?
Nutty, I think.
it's coming from the nuts, correct. All right. Is it a smooth, easy drinking, refreshing type of a beer, Gabriel?
Right.
Okay, it's correct. Yes, right. What would you rate that beer out of 100?
Brown ales have that nuttiness, I think.
Yes.
I don't know if this one
Brown lager, but
compare.
Yeah. How would you rate that beer you have in your hand right now?
Oh,
Who's exercising?
Gabriel is contemplating.
All right.
I'll rate it 85.
There you go. Write it down. 85
All
out of
right.
Plus.
100.
I've had the
I think
worst
so.
cider. It's not bad.
Craig says, "quote He wishes
It's cream.
that he was 100% live like Gabe."
It's creamy.
Excellent. The chat is loving your review examination, Gabriel. So cheers to Gabriel. Yeah.
Cheers, Gabriel.
Sir. Senor.
On camera, you can see it dark, but you can't see like brown,
Just a little bit of the brown. So that is cool. Excellent beer, Gabriel.
reddish brown.
Okay.
I do want to hear now what Jay is going to rate the Sierra Nevada Pale Ale today as of January 9th, 2019.
yes, mine is all gone at this particular moment. But
Easy drinking.
it is. I will score it a 94 out of 100.
Woo!
That's his live review today, folks. No,
It's
you
an A.
can't see it, but here he is today.
That's good.
It's an A beer, and it's not expensive. And if you drink it, you will probably like it.
Boom. Simple and to the point. I like it.
Yeah.
You feeling the same? Oh! You already rated us your Slovenian beer a 70 out of 100, and you're utterly disgusted with
Slovenian.
that.
Whoa. Slovenian.
I don't know, some crazy country that
Ukrainian.
was their ass. I don't remember.
Ukrainian.
Massachusetts is great. It's Ukrainian.
Oh, wow. All right.
As in Odessa on the Black Sea, where they get the beluga, the sturgeon. The beluga.
Yeah, the city of
That's
Lviv.
California.
My bad. All right.
It was Austrian, and it was founded by Jesuit monks.
Ooh. And
1759.
Chernobyl is over there too. I don't know if that has any effect on the taste, but anyway.
It gives it a little sparkle, James.
Okay. So we did hear your you got right to the point on that one earlier, so that's good. So we can go right down the line to our good buddy in Brooklyn, New York, Michael Kornroff, and his rating. Here he's drinking.
I am going to give this ginger infused Pilsner an 86.
All right. What?
I mean, I think there should be more turmeric and tea flavor in it, which neither can be detected. And I think the basic Pilsner leaves a little bit to be desired too. But that's still a B.
Yeah, that's still not bad. Why not?
The price was low enough.
Okay.
It was a buck for a 16-ounce can.
Oh well, what the heck?
Yeah, what the heck is right? 86 is a pretty good rating for $1 beer. I'll take that. I'll buy that for $1. All right. Anyway.
Dollar Tree beer.
Right now, I think we got a little preview, but we are all anxiously waiting for the actual number rating for Storm King, Victory, and Johnny Miller.
All right. Well, I'm pretty disappointed with this beer. I actually was able to find the bottled on date very inconspicuously printed on the bottom of the bottle here. And it's am I echoing? I hear myself repeating.
I did hear Tyler, and I guess Craig was right. He heard Tyler echoing a little bit earlier. Sorry, Tyler.
All right, so the born on date is 25/02/18, so it's almost a year old, and as it warms, it's getting worse. The hops have faded somewhat, and it's got that weird musty thing going on that is left behind when the hops are no longer fresh. It's still incredibly bitter, though, which is very concerning to me. You're getting a lot of bitterness, probably from the coffee, maybe whatever hops are left. But it's got a weird – it's not a resinous, piney thing. It's not a floral, citrusy, tropical thing. It's a medicinal bitterness, very similar to what I picked up on with the Stone Arrogant Bastard. It's like if you bit into an aspirin and just chewed it up and swallowed it, you get that medicinal bitterness. It's not bad. I mean, the 9.1% alcohol is masked extremely well. There are some nice dark chocolate notes and some coffee notes, but for $12.49 a 6-pack, I'm very disappointed. This is a 78 out of 100 for me. So a C plus. I would like to try a fresh bottle because the hops, that musty thing that I'm getting, is very undesirable. There are some good flavors, but like I said, it's just way too bitter and not the good kind of bitter, like biting into a pill.
Very interesting. I've had Storm King before, but I'd have to go back on the Beer Advocate when I was using it on a regular basis to determine when that was, because I don't remember thinking that of the beer. But again, it's been quite some time, so maybe it's time to refresh my memory on Storm King, if John would recommend me do that.
Eric.
Yes, sir.
Hey, guys. You want me to read my review from 6 years ago for Victory Storm King? It's very short.
Oh, okay.
Good, Jay.
All right. I'll only need about 20 minutes, and it's done.
20 minutes is too long for this review.
25. All right. 18.
Sounds like somebody else we know.
Well, I'll change my camera angle. All right. Victory. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Get ready. Set. Go. Quote.
I'm ready.
Ready, set, go. Quote. Victory Storm King Imperial Stout has a medium creamy, heavy-bodied beige head. Why did I write heavy body, guy? That's a miss. That doesn't make sense. All right. A medium, creamy, beige head and a very dark brown appearance. The aroma is... who was I drinking when I wrote this? All right. Dark roasted chocolate, coffee. Wonderful. Oh, yeah. The taste is the same with black cherries, a ghost of licorice, and black bread crust. Awesome. Awesome. Mouthfeel is heavy and, I don't know. Mouthfeel is heavy and...
All right, so maybe this is not the beer review to be reading right now, Mr. J. Theriot.
Ghost? Say ghost?
I think he meant a skosh.
Oh, skosh? What the hell?
No,
is that? Look that up later.
Like mouthfeel is heavy and thick, and Storm King finishes powdery, sweet, and dense. Overall, this is an epic beer, just so wonderful. I beg you to get it. So me and John and Nile, we're going to have a little pound.
Does John maybe need to acquire even a fresher bottle of the Storm King to maybe get a better date on their...
I think the fact that this beer was bottled almost a year ago and it was sitting on the shelf with the light right on it for the past year, I don't think it did this beer any favors. So I would like to try it again.
Right on it. Oh,
I mean, you know, when it's sitting in the cooler section and it's got the light on it in the grocery store, I mean, it's not like it's in a dark, cool environment to preserve it very well.
Oxidation, maybe.
It just, yeah, this version here is not very good. That's why it gets a 78. So
at least it wasn't the sunlight.
No, but you know, Victory. Some people take issue with Victory. You're not the only person that said that they had problems with Victory. I was over there bragging on it, saying I beg you to try it. But if I revisit it, maybe I'm not going to say all these wonderful things. That is 6 years ago, after all.
True, but I'm very disappointed because I love Victory, and every beer I've had from them so far has been excellent. And one of my favorite sour beers ever, maybe actually it might be my favorite, is the Victory Sour Monkey. I gave that a 98 out of 100. So this is just very disappointing, but it is almost a year old, like I said. So it has that musty, faded hop thing going on, and I think that's part of the problem.
And,
to each their own on that stuff. Everybody, that's what's great about beer YouTube community and beer reviewing in general, is that everybody's going to have their own opinions on that stuff. And the cool thing is that even if you don't review a beer like live on a camera, or you don't type one out and post it on Rate Beer or Beer Advocate, you'll still be able to tell, just in your own personal experience of drinking beer, if either your palate has changed or just your thought and opinion on that beer over time maybe changes. You could try the beer in another year, couple of months, maybe have a fresher one. Who knows? And your experience may just be totally different. Nobody's trying to obviously discredit John Anilli's experience. However, being this his first time drinking that beer, this may yet to be really concrete 100% that this is the actual way that he's going to get this beer and drink it every single time he may acquire it. You know?
No, but he's got to call it as he sees it.
Exactly.
He can't.
Yep. Yes.
You got to call it as.
You got to be honest in craft beer, and I'll leave that one alone. So yeah, Curmudgeon's Better Half from Founders Brewing Company. I am so glad that I was not drinking it out of I was not drinking this particular beer out of a glass on New Year's Eve, although other beers were in a glass, just not this one for whatever reason. So I'm glad I got it into a glass. I'm glad I'm able to get a little bit of aeration in there and swirl it and get my nose up in it. I definitely think that it's a little bit too narrow in a bottle to just drink this one. There's a lot going on, and I think with like a really good big old red wine, this did need a little bit of breathing time to open up somewhat, because it just tasted really boozy and just overly sweet just from the neck of the bottle, just drinking it that way. However, that is still my general complaint. If any complaints from this beer, it is a little bit too sweet. Not sweet enough that I can't drink the beer, but for my personal liking, it is a little bit too sweet for me. And the booze doesn't bother me when you taste it and when you swallow the beer and when you finish it. However, it is a little harsh, just a tiny bit harsh at the beginning of the sip. Just a little bit. Almost like if you smelled a nail polish remover just initially for a half second. It has that kind of vaporous alcohol to it, but it goes away pretty fast, so that's not a huge problem. I mean, it is I guess it is a world-class beer. I can't really knock it for how it's done. If you like the barrel-aged beers on the sweet side, and you like more of the coconutty vanilla notes to your bourbon barrel-aged beers, this one may be one for you. But again, you really do have to like a sweeter style beer overall. I mean, I think it is a world-class beer, but for my personal rating, I'm just going to notch it down that 1 point down to 89 out of 100. Mr. Michael Kormaroff, if you write that one down in the book. Okay. And that is, again, that's the primary reasoning. So for me, if I understand that molasses and maple syrup are like the big stars next to the barrel. So it's my thought was going into this, hearing those terminologies and those ingredients, that this was going to be a sweeter beer, and it is. But for me, I would just use less of those ingredients. Now maybe they can't use less of those ingredients in the barrel because they had the maple syrup in the barrels, but that's just my personal.
89, Jay.
Okay, and my friend David Garlapie didn't like the Better Half either. He said the maple syrup and all that was gross, and I said I really liked it. So you see how people can disagree on these things?
I just think it would be better in a smaller ratio. I do like how it mixes together, just in a little smaller ratio, so it's not so on the verge of cloyingly sweet. So that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm going to age a couple of these that I have left, and hopefully that'll do something positive. Who knows until I age it. So, Gabriel Celaya, he showed up. He's here. I'm here.
Yes.
You have any final thoughts and conclusions to wrap up the Warsteiner Dunkel other than your rating you already gave it?
Right, it says best before August 22.
So very fresh. It sounds like a very
2019.
Sounds like it's a really fresh product you got there. So
they had singles. See, look.
How much did you pay for that beer? $2.50. Do you think it's a good deal there, Jay Terrio?
For a single of Warsteiner?
Yeah.
No, maybe $1.59.
Oh.
A 12-pack is $11.99.
Too high.
Oh.
Too high.
All right. Well, Gabriel, you're always welcome to join when we're going live. You get these links to the chat. Join us. Do it.
Yes.
Anybody else for final thoughts on the first Wildcard Wednesday of 2019? Anybody?
Yeah, I have a final thought. My final thought is drink local and eat local. Why? Because it makes you feel good.
That thing looks amazing.
Right. You have no choice but to
They
eat.
do have a local beer.
You gotta eat local. I mean,
Yeah, you got a lot of access to some local Arizona brewed beers, Gabriel. And
I got a good one. Haven't tasted it yet.
You got to get down to that Total Wine and try and taste them. So, anybody else for final thoughts of the evening? Anybody?
this is just as special as your pre-New Year's Eve show. This is post New Year.
We are going to do. So we did decide that, as we did last week, we did decide to do every first Wednesday of the month, of the new month, we're going to do a themed beer, an actual theme topic instead of wild card. And I believe we decided, is that correct, Michael Kormeroff? We decided that we're going to open it up to everywhere in the continent of Europe. We're going to do
all styles. Any style, doesn't matter what it is.
Pick any beer from any country of Europe, and we'll discuss
in
it.
green bottles.
It doesn't have to be green bottles.
You can drink another Warstein or Dunkel and bring it again if you want.
International.
I've been craving a Pilsner or Quell.
That would qualify.
Yes, any beer from the continent of Europe. So you being able, James, getting those Polish beers and those European beers, continue to do that on the first week of.
I'm going to get something outside of the Slavic region, I assure you.
So I will read some of the comments on the chat, and then we will go off air. So we have Craig Swenson. He is here. I don't know exactly. He said I was 18, but not back then. I don't know what he was talking about.
He's talking about wedding golden anniversary beer.
I have not had that golden anniversary beer from Victory.
Oh no, I think he was talking about what they call Koch or Cook Brewing golden anniversary beer.
I don't remember that.
You have to get Paradise Liquid IPA.
Wow, you heard it live, folks. Gabriel knowing the beer knowledge.
New Belgium Voodoo Ranger.
That's a good beer. Damn.
Paradise Liquid.
I was telling Craig and them I never had the golden anniversary, but I did buy a 6-pack of Sports, and I bought a 6-pack of St. Ides Gold.
We got
Sports game day.
Watching again. He says, "Hey guys, golden anniversary was one of the worst beers I ever had in my life." So Bart is not a fan. Nope. And Craig doesn't believe him. Okay, maybe not the worst, but it was pretty horrendous. Haha, even in my younger days. Yeah, victory is no Genesis, Craig says. And then Craig will finish up the night saying, "You rule, Jay," obviously. All right, Craig, you rule. Obviously, get on this channel. We gotta drink a beer together. So I say on behalf of Gabriel Salaya joining late, and John Anile, and Michael Kolmaroff, and James C. Madonna doing some mouth harp mustache grooming, and Jay Terriot, and Tyler Friggin Mansell. I'm Thomas Metal 75. Until next time, let's raise a glass. Until next time.
And my final statement is that when I reviewed that in October 2018, I gave it 95 out of 100.
Look, Eric.
Cheers.
Same color.
Cheers, everybody.
We'll see you
Same color.
next week.
Mine is darker.